welcome back. It was quite an evening yesterday, wasn't it? I have had a few hours sleep. I have been working on everything for today, and just in the last 10 minutes, I can tell you, a cat has wandered into the Airbnb here. Here's the thing. I mentioned that there was a cat. This is a different cat. So there is a cat in here somewhere that isn't the cat that I intend to tell you guys about. Now, there is a few amazing things happening today. Number one, we are going to, of course, go through everything we saw yesterday. Again, Jay is going to be joining us, obviously, who was there in the room. Most excitingly, in approximately 10 to 15 minutes time, approximately 15 minutes, the one and only Adonxs is going to be joining us live on stream. He's going to be answering your questions. He's going to be answering my questions. So please use the Q&A function on YouTube, which is set up and running now, and get those questions in. This is going to be a first for me and a first for you guys, where we have an artist with us live on stream. We're going to be looking at some of the pictures from his rehearsal too, because there are a couple of questions I really want to ask. So that's very, very exciting. Like I said, you can submit questions on YouTube. I will try and ask a few of them when the time comes. I can see there's loads already. Excellent. I appreciate that very much, guys. So yeah, it's a really exciting day. We have lots to go on, lots to do. But I think first it might be helpful to just decompress a little, because it's almost exactly 12 hours since the end of the previous stream, since the audience poll came out, and much in the same way we did with the last stream, where we finished with what we started with what we finished with on the previous one. I'm going to get that audience poll up now. We're going to take another look at it. So, what we can see here is the headlines. Sweden, of course, won the audience poll with a clear margin too. The Netherlands in second had 197 votes, 13.2%. This was a big surprise. People were starting to get worried. The narrative was starting to not look great for this entry ahead of the contest, but now things are looking much rosier. Estonia and San Marino practically tied in third and fourth, just 4 votes apart, with Albania only 3 votes behind them. So, it was dramatic at the top. You have these sort of 3 groups. You have this slightly lower group of Belgium, Norway, and Iceland, and then things really fall away after that. I've got to say, last night, when we revealed this audience poll, I think it might have been one of my favourite moments on this channel ever. I don't know about you guys, I thought it was so much fun. Like, I felt like an election night announcer. And the tension and so on, the way the chat exploded when we revealed the result was so much fun. ESC with Alex, thank you so much for that kind support, for that 200 Czech crowns. I don't know the exchange rate, but I love your generosity very much. Thank you. It also had some effect on the odds, and I'm going to show those to you as well. Like I said, in about 10 minutes' time, we are expecting my brain just froze up. We are expecting some news. Also, I have just been informed, hi Adam P, that there will be a new version of the model coming out at 1 p.m. So we can look at that on stream once we've spoken to Adonxs. I have just seen it, and there is an interesting surprise for semi-final 1. Let me tell you that right now. Let's look at these odds. Firstly, qualification odds. There was tons of movement last night, and there has been a little more since then. I think the key headline here is that Belgium now looks really safe. Belgium up to an 84% chance. As you can see, the odds are certain this is qualifying. Interestingly, just a tiny bit of doubt, but not much, creeping in for Kyle Alessandro. He's down to 9th. What? Did the cat just walk behind? I completely missed it. I'm sure they'll be back. I have a feeling the cat does live here because it's very confidently strutting around this place. Norway in 9th. San Marino still 10th in the odds, but starting to look a little bit more shaky. You have Slovenia right behind, practically even in the odds and ahead with some bookmakers. And then in 12th, you have Iceland. 42% is the highest their odds have been, and my Euro Club wristband just broke. Oh well. This is the highest they've been in the odds to qualify. The serious side of this is it means they have a real chance to go through. I know a lot of us have been hoping for it the whole season. I really hope it comes true. I love these guys. I'm going to be watching the show tonight in the Euro Village, and then I'm going to be filming a video straight afterwards. I'm going to be coming back here, which means no Euro Club for me. I'm going to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning editing, I suspect. I want to hear what excited you from last night's show. I think some key answers. Albania, Belgium were key answers. I think obviously Sweden did what we expected them to do. Cyprus was interesting. Certainly the staging was superb. Vocally, maybe some questions. I guess we'll have to see. I think, though, all of the key favourites, for the most part, delivered. Now, I am impressed that I managed to not notice the cat walking all the way across the room and coming behind me. I don't know, is it under here somewhere? No, okay. I don't know where the cat is. Maybe it'll show up again later. Jay, do you know where the cat is?
No idea.
Okay, he has no idea. I'm sure it'll be around in here somewhere. It was just strolling around, just chilling, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I am saying, someone says the audience was so dead last night. You should bear in mind, the audience this year is quite small. The audience is quite small. It will be a little smaller than in previous years. It's not necessarily a problem. And obviously the TV production this year looks really exceptional, but that will be why the audience is quieter. You might not get those big roars that you had previously. Gotham, hello. The biggest shock of the night for me, Switzerland is officially in the winners' conversation. This, of course, is the other big headline, and I can show you the winners' odds just to see how high Switzerland is now and how much of an impact it had. Having dwelled in the mid-teens the entire season, we are up a lot. Thank you, Elchip, for that subscription. To 8th, practically level with Finland, which is astonishing. But at the same time, I think it's completely justified. We saw a really beautiful performance last night. We saw the camera work, masterful. It's like a music video, but like a really beautiful sort of kind of old-style French kind of thing. It's just the way it's softly lit. They've got a special lens on the camera. It's just so special. Now, keep putting in your questions for Adonxs. Now, I will say, of course, I have some of my own, so I'm going to be starting with those. But I'm sure we will be able to do a little bit of both. It's been a long week. It's only Tuesday, but it's been a long week. We haven't even made it to show one yet. I'm very tired. And I've been being well behaved as well. Not drinking, not staying out too late. But nonetheless, I think it really is. I can't explain to you all enough how intense Eurovision week is. It is the most ridiculous experience. It's fun, of course, but it is ridiculous. There is so much going on at all times that it can be difficult to keep up. You know, it's, for me at least, it's far from a holiday because I am doing stuff all the time, just constantly. And obviously, I love it. I absolutely love doing this, but my God, am I sleepy. It is an exhausting experience. Utterly surreal, as someone says. Yes, indeed. We're going to ask, so if you've got any other questions about yesterday's show, please do ask. How was Spain yesterday, says Rachel. So Spain vocally sounded pretty good. I wasn't sure about the staging. I think there's a few people who've highlighted that. But we did see on stream last night, the big note was really, really impressive. That's one thing for sure. Also, I'm seeing a lot of people saying, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? I'm going to try for the most part, save that for when Jay is on stream. He's going to be joining us after Adonxs. And I'll also say who I think my 10 qualifiers are. The staging is weirdly grey for Spain. Yes, I can see that, unfortunately. It is a little bit. I find that melody kind of blends into the background a little bit, which is not what you would want. It seems like a couple of odd choices. I mean, it's far from, it's not Jova, right? You don't need to worry too much. So, and someone asked about Justina and the ropes. Yes, a little bit tangled. Not terribly, but it just took her a second or two more than planned to get them off of her wrists. Because obviously she's not just holding them, right? They are like wrapped quite firmly around her so that if she lost her grip, she wouldn't fall because obviously she's really high up in the air. But overall, it went to plan. She was a little breathy at that end there just because she'd had to run after that to get back into her spot. But that's natural. I think it'll be fine tonight. That's what rehearsals are for, and they can have another go at it this afternoon as well. So, we are just waiting now. I'm very excited. A few minutes away from the first ever live streamed ESC Gabe channel interview, which is super exciting. In the meantime, Lee says the risk assessments this year must be mental. It is interesting, actually, because it's a funny joke, but there's also a good point in this about just how much more seems to be permitted in terms of suspension. You've got artists hanging from the ceiling. You've got Clement upside down. All of this stuff, which makes a massive difference in the way that things are shot, things are filmed. And it's really interesting. And a lot of this wouldn't have been allowed in previous years because famously people can't be suspended, people can't fly around the rope. At the same time, as the technical capabilities of the contest keep growing, the flip side of that is a number of arenas, the number of broadcasters capable of putting on the show could possibly reduce. So I do hope that at the same time, if a country with less broadcasting expertise does win, that there is still the there is still the institutional knowledge, the technical knowledge available from others to assist them and make sure that they can put on the contest. That said, though, I think I'm not entirely convinced yet that we won't still be in Switzerland next year. I just really hope. If it is Switzerland, not Geneva. It was really funny speaking to some Swiss fans at the Euroclub last night. Even they were saying, just please not Geneva. Because Eurovision in Geneva would be expensive on a whole other level. And yes, indeed, they can indeed afford the insurance. We are still just waiting for Adonxs, who should be along in a few minutes. I've got a member of, it sounds crazy to say, I've got my friend Adam, a member of staff, out waiting on the street for Adonxs, and when he's along, he will be coming straight in. I'm peeking out the window, see if I can see anything. People saying Geneva is a really nice city, though. Yes, Geneva is lovely, but it's the most expensive city in Europe. It's insane. It makes London look cheap. For context, if it's in Sweden, where would it be? I think, to be honest, if it was in Sweden, there'd probably be no other option other than Stockholm. Malmö has already said they wouldn't want to host it again. One of the reasons for that was a lot of the economic benefit was actually felt by the Danes in Copenhagen instead. On the flip side, I think Stockholm, they've got those two big arenas. They were a little burned from last year. I think it would be a more controlled Swedish hosting in a way that they'd be, more able to do it. And crucially, as B says in chat, the Globen renovations are going to be finished in time, which will help out a lot. Apparently, the Google Street View car just drove past the Airbnb, by the way. And Adam, just let me know if everything's okay, yeah? Because I am totally in your hands. So one thing we can show, because it is now 1 o'clock while we're waiting, we can have a little look at the latest version of the model, because the semi-final 1 model is updated after last night's show. I'm just going to try and get it up for you now. It's 1 p.m. here in Basel. I'm just checking it did that the thing that was sent to me definitely says embargoed until 1 p.m. Yes, embargoed until 1 p.m., which means I can show you this now. Right, so there's a little surprise waiting for you in this version of the model after last night. Here is where we are with semi-final 1. Sweden still at the top. Belgium now in second with Ukraine just behind it. Norway 4th. The Netherlands in 5th. Estonia 6th. San Marino, they'd be delighted if they finished 7th. Albania 8th. Poland 9 and Iceland 10. That would mean it would be Cyprus out in 11th with 4 countries more below that, way, way away. There's a few things that I want to talk about here, which I think are maybe not quite accurate. I think the chances of Slovenia being that far away are minuscule to none. I think Slovenia is going to be with a real contention of qualifying now. It's clearly connecting. People really enjoyed it in the arena. In addition to that, I still don't know. San Marino that high. I think there's an element of the odds are pushing it up. I think it needs to come down. It's not going to... If it qualifies, it won't be that comfortable. And to be honest, the staging is causing a real problem for it. I think what's happened here is because it did so well in the audience poll last night, it's going to, do well accordingly and following on from that here too, because the audience poll is one of the factors that plays into this. That doesn't take into account staging. And in this case, it's going to be a big distortion. At the other end, you've got Azerbaijan now with just 1 point. I think, that's not a lukewarm take, Jeff. I think it'll pick up a couple of handfuls, maybe 15, 20 at a push. I hope that Iceland's qualification is true. Very much hope so. We will have to see. I'm just going to check in and see how we're looking for the interview in a moment's time. There we go. So, a few more minutes, still time to get your questions in. It's really exciting to have an artist come on stream and join, especially given how busy this week is. I think that's one of the key things I'm definitely going to be asking about, because they are in the midst of one of the busiest weeks of their creative lives. It's going to be difficult, quite frankly. I mean, my brain, as you can probably tell, has turned into soup. And I'm pretty sure Jay's brain is soup, and he only got here yesterday, and he's nodding at me right now from the other side of the room. And I'm pretty sure all the artists' brains will be soup too. The interview is with Adonxs. For those of you who aren't aware, Adonxs will be joining us live on stream. I'm just waiting studiously for Adam to bring him in once he arrives. By the way, something I learned, this is a completely random fact, it's unrelated to anything. These curtains are like Swiss Army camo. And so the people who rent out this Airbnb, one of them is an interior designer, and so everything's kind of, nicely done. And this is camo, but actually works quite well for curtains. Now, let's talk about semi-final 1 again. And what I really want to talk about, to be honest, is emotional investment. Because what you find is the more time you spend engaged in this contest, the more time you spend speaking to artists, doing streams like this, everything, you increasingly find yourself, it becomes harder to view stuff in an objective fashion, because you start building up relationships with people. You start, bringing in personal attachments and so on. Like for me, yesterday, when we spoke to Remember Monday, and you can catch that interview on the stream from yesterday afternoon if you missed it previously. I had it was a really emotional experience talking about being theatre kids in music rooms at school, and these sort of dingy rooms, squirreled away in the corner, just sitting there all day, every moment you got just playing music. That was an experience I had. That was an experience they had. And I feel really sort of, I'd started getting invested already. I feel extremely invested now in Remember Monday's success. And I'm desperate for them to do well. I really hope now that they are able to deliver. Speaking of that, who's an artist you will miss? Asks B if they fail to qualify. Well, I think the obvious one is Iceland. I hope they stay for the rest of the week, and I'll try and get them on the stream later in the week. Sisal, of course, is good fun. A couple of people are saying Sisal. I'm going to have a little look at the list again. There we go. Always helps to have a prompt. I will really, really miss Armenia if they don't qualify, because obvious reasons. That now it's just it's a fun story, right? It's something that has really made me laugh, that has given me a lot of joy this season. And I really hope that he qualifies as a result. Obviously, the problem is that semi is such a bloodbath. And I mean, if we look at this right now, we can't conclusively say anyone except for those bottom two is really out of it. So ultimately, it's like, here's your options. Choose who you don't want to qualify. And I look at these and it just makes me really sad. I mean, Emmy as well, who's been so lovely through this entire experience. I caught up with some of the delegation in the Euro Club the other night. They're really enjoying the experience. She's really embraced it. She's embraced Ireland, and it just sounds really amazing. And I'll be really sad to see her go. And now I'm just naming all of them. But like the Latvians, we sat down with Tautametas yesterday and had the most interesting conversation about like folk music and about how we can get young people engaged in it and all of this stuff. And I just, I'm gonna miss these guys so much if they don't qualify. But there we go. Maybe there's some big shocks here. I think there's a few that are maybe not certain. I think sort of Greece, Luxembourg, looking a little bit like they could get caught out. Serbia, I think, is not going to qualify. I don't know why it's still in the top 10 odds. I just don't think the audience is there for it. They'll get 12 points from Montenegro, but beyond that, realistically, who knows? So we are just a little bit delayed here today. So for now, what I'm going to do is, I think we're going to start talking about semi-final one and everything we saw last night. For that reason, I have sent for a man who is well known, the most evil man. And please welcome to the stream, the one and only Jay.
You're the most evil man, first of all.
Well, yes, true. This is true. But, crucially, you were there. You were in the room last night.
Yes.
And so you can tell us about some of these songs. I'm going to put that line up
there
so we can keep an eye on it. We're going to start from the start, which was Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
We're just talking about how much fun this is. Everyone, chat is very excited to see you. They say, hi, Jern.
Hello.
And we started with Iceland, Vibe, Roa. Was the performance everything you hoped for? Now you've had a bit of time to organise.
It's so fun. It is so much fun. And I really want them to qualify so bad. Get your votes in, guys. If you can vote in this semi, please.
I do feel a little stressed, is the thing, because you have that like insanely tight battle for what looks like only one place. It is so difficult to predict what is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And so because of that, I'm just living in fear. I'm just living in fear the whole week. Yes, exactly. because I have no idea what is going to happen. I think that they are doing everything they can. The charisma of it is amazing. Like, come on, the skateboard being used for one of the dancers to swim across the stage.
Yeah, it's like it's really creative, and like I love their outfits too, and it's just so much fun, and I don't want to lose them.
I don't think we will. I think they're going to stick around. I think they're going to sneak through. But the fact that they might not kind of terrifies me. You know, again, it's like, this is what I was saying about investment. You know, we've played Minecraft with these guys. We've done a ridiculous silly long, you know, stream with these guys. It's going to be tough then to not have them qualify. I can hear some noises in the hall, by the way. I don't know if that means we have guests inbound. If so, you're going to be unceremoniously, because you'll be back, but we don't have much space on this couch. So Jay will be temporarily leaving and coming back again when Adonxs arrives. In the meantime, Justyna Styczkowska. Now, you saw this in the room. She had some problem, didn't she, with her...
Yeah, so it took her a second to get the ropes off her wrist. But she recovered quite well. It was only like a second little thing. Hopefully she tightens that up for the show tonight. Overall though, in the arena, the performance looked stunning. But I heard some people say that watched the press jury thing. They said it looked a little bit messy.
Well, here's the thing is, because yesterday afternoon, we got nothing but good reviews about this. Because all the press went in the room and they could only watch it in the room, and they were all like, wow, you know, it looks stunning. You know, visually, it's you know, it looks great. And then they watched it in the room and they were like, well, it's cool, but it's also just, it's very over the top. It's very much, you know, I keep calling it an everything burger.
Oh my God.
And that is kind of how I feel about this.
It's kind of like they had all of these ideas and they put it into one performance.
Do you think they sell it? Because for me, it still feels like they are selling it overall.
I think they are. I mean, Justyna's like a very competent performer. You know, like she always hits her notes. She's always, well, for the most part, on the mark. Apart from, you know, the ropes thing. But I think she sells it very well.
No, I think this is the thing. I'm excited to see this in full later on tonight. If there's anyone who can take a sort of, you know, everything sort of thing and make it work, it is Justyna Styczkowska. She is... I mean, she's a consummate professional. She's probably one of the, if not the most experienced performers in tonight's show. She's been doing this live for 30 years since she was first in Eurovision.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be really interesting to sort of talk to her a bit more actually at length, you know, sort of get some reflections on how the contest has developed, how she's developed as an artist in the time since then, because I find it really fascinating. Paige, thank you so much for the 10 Australian dollars, says, if anyone wants some Icelandic hopium, I showed my husband, who doesn't watch my top 4 from semi-final 1, and he originally thought I put it in order from best to worst, with Iceland at the top there. Thank you very much. Well, that's a good sign. I actually do know, you know, there's a lot of people who have really enjoyed Iceland, and I think that's why it has kept on creeping up the odds. Slovenia, next. And this is one that maybe we were a little surprised by. At least I was surprised by.
Yeah.
That effect with the upside down seems to go down really well in the arena.
Yeah. It was very impressive how he could keep singing pretty much perfectly while being upside down. And obviously, like, the graphics at the back of him showing, like, memories of his family, his wife and kid together, it's really sweet. And then when his wife comes on, they're back to back, kind of like I Want to Like Me, just like I love that song, and I draw so many parallels between those two, like, stagings, especially that part. But yeah, it's really touching.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song, I think, once you get it. I think the problem is, like, I mean, it still hasn't clicked for me, but you were saying it clicked for you last night.
Yeah.
How was it actually really emotional when you actually saw him there doing it? Because you saw it at LEP and it didn't click then.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the fact that we're here, you know. But it was a really good performance. I don't know if it's qualifying, but I think he should be proud of what he was able to do with this song.
Now, I personally think it could actually. This is the thing that really hurts. I think it could pip Iceland. That upsets me. I really don't want that to happen, but it feels like it's a real possibility. One song that feels a lot more certain, and I'm going to, just so you guys can all see the running order, I'm going to put it on screen in a moment. 1 second, I just got to mute. That is already muted. Good. There we are. So, next up, Estonia. Tommy Cash, Espresso Macchiato. Again, this is one we've seen live before at Esti Lowell, and at the time, we weren't totally on board with it. How do you feel now? Has it developed? Did it feel like it made more sense in this room than in the room at Esti Lowell?
I still don't really vibe with it. They did add this like fake stage invader thing. But for me, I don't get it, really.
I think it's catchy.
It's so
fun.
catchy.
And I like the song. Like the song to listen to, I enjoy. But I'm not so sure about the. I'm not so sure. I haven't seen the full stage performance. But if it's as similar, everyone's saying it's very similar, right? It sounds like they have added some nice touches. And it is funny that they drag the person away. Yeah. Like that's a funny gag. And it maybe softens him up a bit that they do the whole, dance together on stage thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Again, maybe I think that there's a point here about, okay, well, am I actually doing exactly the thing you shouldn't do with Tommy Cash, which is assume something,
like
look
take
for
it
something
too
specific.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I don't want to put him in a box. I just feel like this performance is in a Eurovision-shaped box. I talked about this song on Overthinking It actually a couple of weeks ago, which was like a real I've made it moment to be in an Overthinking It video. But it feels like, much like, he associates with Kadia, he associates with Joost. Much like Kadia and Joost, it kind of feels like he, Joost kind of did his own thing. Kadia reshaped his style to go into a sort of Eurovision-shaped box to an extent, and it really worked because obviously that song is emotional for us all. I think a lot of experiences attached to that song. I in particular owe a lot to that song, because I wouldn't have met weird. I wouldn't have met the love of my life without Cha Cha Cha. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, Kadia changed to fit Eurovision. This song feels a bit like a adjustment to fit into a Eurovision shaped box, which I didn't really expect from Tommy Cash. I thought, think about his recent back catalogue. He had videos that were a video that could only be uploaded uncensored to porn sites.
Yeah.
Some of the collabs he's done, some of the stuff he's done at Fashion Week and everything else. His song with Joost, there's a lot of things that I maybe thought, would have said something about where this was going to go, and it didn't go where I expected it to. That said, I think it's a good song. I like it. I enjoy it. But there we are. So, from Thomas Dollar, we are moving on to the first pre-qualifier, which was Spain. Essa Diva, how did you find this in that room?
I found it a lot of fun, but that's because we were also surrounded by like some Spanish people, so they were like hyping it up. You know how the Spanish are. They're hype
very,
up everything. Very
enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I remember well actually. 2022, as you can imagine, was fever pitch.
God!
The stands were shaking. Like the stands were actually shaking. I've never seen a response like that for a Eurovision entry before. It was astonishing. But I get so it's the right people to be around when you're watching it. In terms of the performance, how strong do you think it's doing? Was there the hair helicopter?
No, not that I remember.
How sad.
I feel like I would have remembered.
That was my favourite bit. That's quite sad. That was my favourite bit.
There is a quick change.
Explain. So I know there's the silhouette at the start, right?
Yeah. So, because obviously we didn't see like the performance on TV, there's a curtain that comes down, right? It splits in the middle so she can like kind of come through and reveal her outfit.
Okay.
So it will come down. She'll be behind the curtain for a second, and then she'll like kind of push out.
Burst through.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing is there's some cool staging effects. Overall, I do think too grey. Someone said this in chat just before when we were talking about it. It's very sparkly, very grey, and I think what that results in is a slightly. I think it damages the performance a little bit. Like I wanted something a bit different, and because the song is so full of kind of energy and color, and it's she's a diva, and it's quite sort of bashful and forthright. I was hoping that we would get some of that on screen as well, and it didn't feel like it's coming across. Yeah. One thing in her column, the big note, I thought she sounded great. I thought her big note was really, really good.
It did sound good in the arena, so
like she's good. A performer, she knows what she's doing, and I think that really showed. Just like you're saying, we are expecting Adonxs along in the next few minutes, I'm told. Adam suspects because, yes, I can see now that he and his team are about to arrive. So, Jay.
Yes.
We will see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
He will be back. We're going to talk about the rest of the semi-final. On my side, it's time to get ready for Adonxs.
Bye, guys.
You waved at the wrong camera. The camera is there.
Bye, guys.
See you in a minute, Jay. Yeah. So obviously, it's been a really exciting week here in Basel, and I'm delighted to bring about a first for the channel, which is an interview live on set. Now, this is someone who I've been really excited to speak to, someone with a fantastic voice, with a really exciting background in terms of fashion and music that I'm looking forward to talking to him in about 1 minute. We are just getting everything ready here, and I'm very excited to do that. In the meantime, thank you so much, Nicholas, for that very kind $69, very appropriate, and says thank you for all of your efforts this week. Gabe, J. Adam and Mods, and in advance everything forthcoming. My first Eurovision season has been amazing fun. All the best tonight and throughout the week. Thank you so much. That is so generous. As a reminder, on YouTube, you can ask questions to Adonxs, and I will pick some of them out and ask them for you. We are just preparing now. In the meantime, I will just do that to get ready. And I expect we will be joined imminently. So hopefully this will be something we can carry forward into the future. I absolutely love doing things like this, and it's a pleasure to bring the contest to you in this way. So I am delighted to welcome to the ESC Grave stream. I've got my own name wrong. I've ruined my intro. Here is Adonxs.
Hi guys.
See, the good thing is, because we're sat down, I'm very, very short. Because we are sat down, it evens us out a little bit. Let's see. Yes, you can see the frame there, and we've got the nice soft lighting here as well. Yes, it's nice because we are very lucky. This Airbnb, the person who has it is actually an interior designer. So it's like, nice backdrop, Swiss camo curtains, all nicely done furniture and everything.
You can choose any corner and it will be perfect.
Yes, and you can imagine on the first day. As you can see, there's also a cat over there.
Oh, no way.
That cat actually doesn't live here. It just kind of walked in today.
I literally just learned that apparently Kiss Kiss in Belarus is catcalling.
Oh.
So this is a perfect full circle. Let's see if it works.
I'm also pretty sure that kissa in Finnish is actually cat as well.
Kissa?
Yes.
Okay.
I did Finnish for like 6 months when I was like 20 when I was in university. And
Good
that's
for
like
you.
the only thing I remember. In any case, chat, make sure to keep submitting your questions. We'll ask some of them in a minute, but I'm going to start with a couple of my own. And one thing that really fascinates me about you and your background is it's really difficult as a public figure. And I remember speaking to Nemo, who's someone else who's done this, about stepping away from that kind of rigid framework of masculinity and femininity, but also doing that in the public eye. There's a lot of challenges that come with that. I know you found it really liberating. You said it was in London that started. As you've grown in profile, is that something that's been a challenge to maintain? Is it something that you think about a lot, or does it feel really natural now?
No, I think the other way around. I think I don't think about it at all at this point, especially being on stage. I think sometimes I even look at a picture or like a promo picture and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I never felt more masculine. And then, you know, everyone else is like, this is the most feminine pose or picture or anything that you've done. So I think for me, the spectrum is a little bit blurred at this point, which is a good thing because you're not overthinking anything or you're not putting any barriers for yourself in a way, and you can be really in the moment and express the way you feel at that very moment. So definitely that. But you do come from a background that is definitely like challenging you in terms of the boxes and in terms of the stereotypes and in terms of, you know, how you should sit or how you should talk. But I feel like, you know, I'm already 29 by now, so that's ages ago when I was like, you know, growing up.
You
13,
say it like
14,
it's really
15.
old.
It's not, but, you know, like when you're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, my coming out was like 18 years old. I do remember, like, you know, you're observing yourself a lot. You're trying to portray yourself in a way that you think society will accept the most, and that is just so limiting you in all in life.
Yeah, I mean, it's so. I mean, I remember the feeling. It is so exhausting being a teenager and having all of the feeling like every element of you is under scrutiny, not just from your peers, but from yourself as well, because you're changing so rapidly. Like I remember you said you were self-conscious about your voice when you were a teenager for a while.
Yes.
I was so scared. I really wanted to sing as a child. I didn't join a choir until I was 14 because I was scared to. So I kind of understand the feeling. How did you kind of rediscover that light? Because now, obviously, you're totally embracing it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Like in pop music, I don't think there still is that many like singers that their register is bass or bass or like baritones. And the focus, especially at the time when my voice was changing and I went from the like very high children voice to like really the lowest ever basso profondo. I feel like, okay, this is it for me. Pop music doesn't actually have. I can do opera and that's it. And then probably what helped me a lot were also artists like Woodkid, if that rings a bell, Run Boy Run, a French artist, and Orville Peck, and these artists who were also embracing, you know, different registers. And I need to say my vocal coach, Hanka Peckova, she's an opera singer, and she really taught me to appreciate this color, this tone, and through even more classical approach and classical training, I just discovered lots of new and wonderful options for myself, and I'm glad I did and kept on working on it.
And obviously we have that falsetto in the song, so you still have that beautiful upwards range. Again, it's something that I think we need more people to embrace. Speaking of the song, now I remember when I first listened to it and I heard this dance break, and it was this really interesting thing to me because I was like, this is bold. And I'm going to see this live, and I'm going to know straight away if I think it works. And then I saw it live. It was the Amsterdam performance, I think it was the first one. And it was just like, yes.
Okay,
you know,
it works.
Yes, it works. And it's such a... I mean, this is why I love Eurovision, because it's such a bold thing to sort of transition into and out of in this song. But I know it must be really important to you as someone who's a dancer to have that element of you on display.
100%, and you mentioned the transition, like that was the biggest challenge because the song is written in 3-4 time signature, and we were experimenting like, is it possible to switch the tempo mid-song, and then what, do we stay in it or we finish it on a different tempo, or do we jump back to 3-4? So this was fun, and and the most challenging bit in a way, and to do it the way that it's not super disruptive for your ear and for the listener. And I think we manage it well. I think like the transition is very smooth. I'm really enjoying it myself. And the dance break was there, or it was at least instrumental placeholder from the very first demo, because as you said, it is very important for me to also perform and showcase the dance skills, and that is part of my DNA as an artist. Like, if you come to my show, you will get emotional ballads behind the piano, but you will get the dance breaks and fully produced songs.
And speaking of other things that represent part of your identity, what I'm actually going to do, so I have this button, helpfully, I do this and I can show stuff on screen.
Wow.
These are some of your rehearsal photos. I wanted to focus in on the outfit.
Technology.
You have this really strong background in fashion. I wanted to ask you sort of what the creative process was for this, what designers you worked with, and also there's a sort of small costume change with the removal of the black. I think it's for the dance break, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like halfway through.
So what was the process for this?
We were on. I had a conversation with a couple of designers, and the final ones were two. We used one for the carpet and one for the staging. This one is Arturo Obeguero, Spanish designer, whose art or the expressions that he uses through fashion are also very mix of masculinity and femininity, which I love and adore. And the first time I was able to try some of his clothes were in Prague Fashion Week. I was like, okay, we're definitely collaborating in the future, and I feel like this was the best match. So we were in discussions on how to make it dramatic enough, but not too theatrical. And we were trying to find that thin line between these two worlds. Not sure we succeeded just yet, but so far I'm very happy. We had to do some small adjustments, obviously, after the rehearsals, figuring out like, okay, the coat might be too long, etc., etc. But we also have a little resemblance in the costumes from the music video. The top part with the cutouts, that's pretty much the travel suit that we have in the music video. So you have a lot of different hidden Easter eggs there as well.
Yeah, and I guess it must be weird at this point because obviously you and your team, you all know what's coming. You've spent all this time putting it together. There's a sort of, I would say, a general. I think the Czech delegation on the whole is projecting this kind of air of confidence this year. That's making me feel pretty good about what we're going to see tomorrow. Is it kind of a bit like the day before an exam where you're like, everyone's about to see my work? Because obviously tomorrow the press, Thursday the public. Obviously I imagine you're very assured in what you've done, but it's also a bit of a strange feeling to be finally at this moment on the edge of it.
Absolutely. Like the whole week for the rehearsals, I was like extremely relaxed and enjoying everything, and then Monday hit yesterday and I'm like, okay, wow, this is real. No, and it is different feeling. It is, showcasing your project, not to just your class, but to 160 million viewers. So I'm hoping that the whole experience, all this time that I was performing and the experience that I was gathering will help me for the special event and special night and semifinals and hopefully finals. So I'm relying on the fact that I have everything that I need. And coming back to the song, that I'm enough and I don't need to prove myself.
For sure. I think the song already is, it's strong. It's really obviously you have a really distinctive vocal and style from the rest of the competition, which is great. Puts you into sort of your own lane, which I think makes me. I'm very optimistic. I do want to go to the chat because we've had, as you can see here, there is literally dozens and dozens of people who are asking questions. We can't ask all of them, so we'll ask just a few.
Okay.
And we'll start with this one, which is, what does a typical day here in Basel look like for you from Shaker?
So we do have dance studio and rehearsals from 9 till 12 usually. Not every single day, but at least today was the last one, and we had at least 4 of those. Lots of interviews scheduled afterwards. Um, uh, I managed to go to gym a couple times, like 3 times, which was a success. Um, and yeah, I mean, the days are very different. Apart from the rehearsals that were fixed, you had the turquoise carpet, you had the rehearsals, so every day was slightly different. And today the plan is to, go to the arena and watch the semifinals and just soak in the real energy and see how everything goes, see how also the new revealing system of the qualifiers functions, because I have the advantage to see it before it's gonna happen to me.
You can sort of mentally prepare for it, I guess.
Yeah.
From what I saw, it's apparently quite slick. It's quite fast, so it won't delay things. I'm worried it may be a little bit confusing.
Because sometimes
we'll
the countries will appear multiple times, so maybe that's the part that might be confusing. But from what I know, you can only appear maximum 3 times. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So I'm going to ask another question in chat here, and we will go to ESC Finlandia, who asks, Adonxs, why did you decide to put the X in your name?
Let me go back a couple of years. So the first logo type was actually Y with the X joining, and I'm gonna come back to a very similar thing, but it was my little play with the chromosomes XX and XY, male and female, masculinity and femininity, and a mixture of these two, because again, I felt like it's a spectrum, and what I'm also bringing on stage is a spectrum when it comes to the masculine and feminine energy. So this was the root of the X, really, and then later on, the label decided to change it completely to X, because when you search it, I pop up, and no Greek mythology pops up. So it has a practical reason, and it has some meaning for me as well.
I have a friend who did a similar thing where they had to change their name, their musical name, for that exact reason, to appear higher in Google search results. We're going to keep going through, and there's a few questions. I can see Gurum, and a few others who are asking about sort of various things centered around the theme of, sort of representing Czech Republic, also representing Slovakia. And how that is for you. Obviously, two nations with very close ties historically,
yes.
culturally, and of course, you covered Hora Chronia, which is a song that I love, and everyone here agrees was robbed. What is your reflection on how the contest is perceived, both in the Czech Republic and Slovakia? Is there a difference at all, and how do you think it can be sort of promoted and grow more?
So I do think, and statistically, Slovakia is out, but like Czechia is still on the tail when it comes to popularity and viewers of the show. And I think this was also one of our goals this year to make it a little bit more popular, which I hope we succeeded with, or we will. And so there are several reasons for this, I think. First of all, we do consider Czechia as, coming like a young country coming back just in the last 20 years, let's say, and the span of the contest is much bigger and older. Second of all, maybe the local media that I think are also responsible for portraying the contest in very absurd and bizarre way, even from this coming from even very credible music outlets, which I'm calling on to, and I think they need to start portraying or looking at the contest as a whole, as a bigger picture, and realizing that, okay, well, this is at least 40 countries and 40 different cultures, and of course it's going to be diverse, and of course it's not going to be the same like you would wish the song was written, but that's part of the Eurovision culture. And and why don't they also focus and promote the big stars that actually came out of this contest, and how credible this whole thing is. So I think this is one reason, and then probably the young age of the country coming back to the contest, and also maybe like a success rate. There wasn't a win just yet for Czechia, so maybe if
Maybe
we do have
by next week.
if we do have higher credibility in terms of the score and success, maybe that will motivate the nation to follow the contest as well, because we are great when it comes to ice hockey, and ice hockey is very popular there, and we're winning as well, so and it feels like then it's more popular as well, so it would make sense. When it comes to Slovakia, that's the whole another story. Think at this point the art in general from government is not very supported in the correct direction. So we have to start with the national television and the government there first. But that's the whole new topic.
No, indeed, I won't. I think we won't.
We can dig into it. I don't mind, but
I think that's something maybe, because that's a whole topic in itself. We can talk for 20 minutes, half an hour. I mean, in general, Eurovision is this kind of beacon in many ways, and I guess it's very important, especially now we're living in quite a tumultuous time in terms of social progress, that I think maybe 10 years ago might be a little bit taken for granted that things would keep moving. We've very much been shown that this is something that you can't take for granted. And how do you think the contest and sort of music and culture in general can help make sure that the next generation of young people coming through don't live with these prejudices that they're being sort of shown by a lot of these kind of negative influences we're seeing on social media now? It's quite, I know it's a big question.
It's a big
and again,
question.
We could probably talk for an hour about that alone. But I'm thinking about sort of the visibility in terms of for young LGBT people and stuff, for people who aren't so secure in their masculinity or femininity.
So there are again two perspectives from my side. Like I said it a couple times, I think Eurovision is very queer safe space and queer friendly, and doesn't necessarily need any new queer ambassador at this point, but it does make sense when it comes to countries like Czechia, like Slovakia, and I think it's very vocal that maybe my art is queer and is loud and proud, and I am representing Czechia with the heritage from Slovakia. So this is still, it does make sense locally, I think, a lot, and it's very vocal there. But as Eurovision itself, I'm so happy that it is very queer safe space.
Well, I think we're going to go with one last question, because we're really, really grateful for you to spend all the time with us, and it's been really insightful. And there are 1,000 people watching us right now who are super, super psyched that you're here. What for you, both sort of this time next week and in 6 months' time, are you hoping to be able to sort of look back on and say, I'm really happy with this. I feel like I've made the most of this opportunity. What does that look like for you?
I'm already looking at this whole journey, because it's been at least half a year of my life. It all started at Malta back in February. So I'm already looking at it like, wow, okay, this is the final week, this is the final sprint, but everything that happened, all the pre-parties, all the joy, all the energy was incredible, and I know I'm gonna be like extremely depressed once this all ends, like all of us.
Yeah.
But I guess that's part of the game too, and whatever happens, I'm so excited to in a couple of years to be talking about this to whether it's my kids, whether it's my relatives, my friends. Like, what a special thing to do in your life, and I feel very blessed, very privileged, and I want to go with this feeling on stage, because you can very easily start spiraling.
Yeah,
we're
for sure.
None of us is watching the odds, is reading comments anymore, because that's not why we're here. We obviously appreciate all of them, but I want to go on stage and enjoy it and cherish that moment, because I might not get there. I'm not Loreen. I might not get back there again.
Well, look, we're really excited to see that moment. Like I said, everything that we have seen over the past weeks is just built that anticipation more, and we can't wait to see what you've got.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
Adonxs, thank you so much. And I'll say everyone in chat give Adonxs a massive thank you. It has been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so
my
much.
I believe my glamorous assistant Adam
Yes.
will. I hope he offered you a glass of water on the way, by the
Absolutely.
way.
Yes.
Very
and I'm
good.
gonna finish it now.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you
Have
so much.
fun the whole week. All of you watching, have fun as well.
Vote for
Yes.
this guy,
Second
please.
semi-final, number 12. And I'll see you out there
Yeah.
on stage.
We will see you very soon. Take care. It has been
Thank
such
you
a
so
pleasure.
much.
Right, we are going to keep moving forward. We are going to keep talking about semi-final one, but in order to do that, we will need to bring back the evil Jay. So, Jay, would you kindly return to the ESC sofa? Okay, and also this is the lovely Ahmad from
Hey,
Czech Republic. Ahmad
Tell me.
is a genius. How are you feeling? How's your week going?
All good. Vote 12, second semifinal. How many people are here from the UK? You can vote song number 12, second semifinal. It's not gonna change your life if you spend £2 or £3 voting for Adonxs, but it can change our life. And make Eurovision affordable again. It's crazy expensive here. Make Eurovision affordable again. Vote for Czechia. It would really mean the world for us.
Love
And
you
that's
so
it.
much.
Now
Thank
I'm
you
doing the
so much
political
as
thing
well
of please
for-
vote.
Thank you so much for setting this all up.
Because
Really
I'm gonna tell you
appreciate
something. When I didn't qualify, you were all complaining. Oh, how many of you voted? If you want to see somebody in the final, you need to go and vote.
it.
Bye.
I voted for Aiko and the rest of the world vote. Just saying. Love you, Ahmad.
Like honestly, please vote.
See, the Czech Republic, I think, is probably my favorite delegation. See you all soon. Thank you so much. The Czech Republic is probably my favorite delegation because they're fun, but they're focused. They make so much on, like I said, the crazy expensive affair that is Eurovision now. Jay, would you kindly like to join me on the ESC Game sofa? Now, see, this is the thing. This is why like live streamed interviews is the kind of thing I want to do more of in future because it's just so much fun. It's such a it feels like a much more relaxed atmosphere. It means you guys get to ask some questions. You guys get to sort of see a little bit more of the artist, and it's just a really special thing. I think I could have spoken to him for hours. I had a list of questions. I asked the first 2 questions, and then we just.
Aww. He seems so lovely.
He's so sweet. He's so sweet.
So tall.
Yes, he's very, very tall.
Yeah.
Livka, thank you very much for the 1,200 Huff. Another amazing interview. Thank you very much. Zeddy says, yesterday I was in the arena. For me, Albania was the best. Belgium and Netherlands very surprised me. Netherlands got the biggest applause from the audience. We'll come to that.
Yes.
And we'll come to Albania too. But next, we must talk about Ukraine.
Ukraine.
You're all sleeping on it. Say something nice, please.
I like how colourful it is.
There we go. That'll do, Jay. I love this song. You're all still sleeping on it. It's great. It's actually great. And I don't know why you all seem to think it's going to do so badly. It did badly in the audience poll. I don't get it.
I will say...
Just quickly, sorry. Salman, I'm really sorry I didn't see your donation. If a mod saw the message, if you could repost it so that I am able to see it, because I really want to read that message. Obviously, I really, really appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. Sorry, continue.
What was I saying?
You like the colours?
I did like the colours. I will say, with this song, it's one that grows on you over time.
For sure.
It did for me. So, for people watching for the first time tonight, I don't know if they're going to get it fully.
But will they say, for example, if they see it in the final, which they will, because it's obviously going to make it to the final.
If they make it to the final and they have more time to kind of connect with the song, if they hear something and they download it, they keep listening to it, maybe it will do a bit better. And maybe juries might appreciate this because it's very unique in the contest this year.
Yeah, this is the thing. This kind of music doesn't come to Eurovision very often, but it's the kind of music I love. And that's what's so frustrating for me because I want people to get it more than they do. It's just, I want people to start understanding it. I do want to see the few people who are the bird of prey defenders. I want to see you in chat. I'm one of them. People are saying that they love it, but they wish they hadn't changed the staging. I did think the garden at the national final was nice.
Yeah.
At the same time, I understand why they're going for the vibe they're going for. They're trying to evoke a specific era of music, a specific style of music, right? And because of that, the staging makes sense in that context. I get that it's not for everyone, but it's for me, and I like it. So, we're going to move to... Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. We're going to talk about Sweden. I mean, zero surprises, except for Big Sausage. You thought it should have been bigger.
I didn't even notice it.
So the sausage must be expanded. The sausage needs to increase in
No.
volume.
Oh.
The sausage, yeah. The performance, the package overall was what we'd expect. It's the same thing as Malfest, but there's 6 instead of 7. So there's not much new here, but they didn't need anything new because it was good anyway. There was nothing about this that needed changing. It won the audience poll. I believe it came first and second in the press poll as well. All the signs we have say that this is going to win this semi-final. And I'm very, very excited to see if that becomes a reality. Any thoughts?
I mean, it's good.
Yeah,
it's polished.
fire.
There's not much to say about it because we've seen most of this already, but seeing it in the room is very cool. And everyone was hyped. Everyone was saying Solna. It's one of those songs you expect is going to be really good, so you're kind of not checking for it.
So it doesn't have the element of surprise, it's true. And thank you, Sonata Ocean Waves, who subscribed with Prime and says, how do you feel about the rest of the world voting already being open? Actually, that is a good point. Maybe we can talk about that. Let's go to the end of this section.
Yes.
And then once we've talked about the next 3 songs, we will take a break at Italy to talk about the rest of the world voting being open, because I have opinions.
Okay.
Shock, I have opinions. Never.
Wow,
never
really?
happened before. Song number 7, Portugal. Desperate. It's okay, Jay. It's okay. Come on. It's all right. It's okay.
Portugal, please. Please. My baby.
It's not going to happen, is it?
No.
And it is sad because, God, it's such a warm, sweet song.
Oh my gosh, this song, I was getting emotional in the room. Not from the staging, but from this song. The staging is there's not much to it. But then again, Albania 2018, they were just stood on stage.
Yeah, but I would say the difference Eugent Bushpepper had the best vocals of any artist that year.
Yes.
He was incredible. His voice was amazing. That's what pushed him through, because he did amazingly with the juries in the semi-final. This doesn't have that benefit.
Yeah.
Albania didn't qualify with the public in 2018.
They got 11?
Yeah, they came 11 or 12. And so they needed the juries, and they did amazingly in the jury as well. I'm just going to see if there's a couple of comments. People are saying Portugal underrated. Being sandwiched between Sweden and Norway doesn't help. On one hand, yeah, but on the other hand, it's so different from those 2 songs that maybe it will in some respect. I feel so bad for JR. Everyone is sharing your anguish. Again, it's another one of these delegations. You find yourself rooting for people as you build these relationships with different delegations by working in the orbit of the contest. And the Portuguese have to be the nicest people ever. I absolutely love the Portuguese delegation. They are wonderful. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is Norway. And I'm going to go here because just a little bit of the tiniest little shake in confidence on the qualification chances here is 9th in the qualification odds. Obviously, as you can see, Belgium is off and running. It's going to be sailing through.
9th is crazy, I think.
I think it's indicative of... Because, if you look at these 9 songs, in my opinion, all 9 of those, with the possible exception of Cyprus, are obvious qualifiers. I guess Adam's making himself an espresso. Maybe you can make one of... Adam, can I have a coffee as well? Yes, Dave. Thanks, Adam. My mug's still in here somewhere. Is it? Oh, he'll just get another one. He'll be fine. It'll work out.
Yeah.
My question is, much as I think this is a really slick and solid package, I really need to stop saying the word package.
Please.
It's so unserious. If I was going to pick one of these let's say two of the 9 certain ones.
Yeah.
Cyprus and Norway would be the ones where I think, there could be a slip up, something could happen here. Is there a world in which Norway slips out?
I
think probably not.
So I don't think so. I think they're for sure qualifying. Because, like...
It's slick.
Yeah. Like, his vocals are great. I think the staging was quite cool.
I will say, apparently the camera angles weren't as good as people expected. That's why
really?
It slipped. That some of the angles were not on point. There's still time to fix that. They have a rehearsal this afternoon.
Yeah.
They have the show this evening. To be clear, we're not covering the rehearsal this afternoon. It's the family show. Nothing happens in the family show. Go outside. Go take a break. Go have, a nice late lunch with your family.
Yes.
Don't bother following the family show. There's nothing for you to see there. Just get ready for tonight. So the camera angles weren't right. It's things like the dance break with the audience behind it that we had at MGP. Mm-hmm. I really, really hope that's still there. I haven't seen it yet. But I really, really hope it's still there. No milk, thanks, Adam. He's just held up his phone with the word milk on it.
Oh my God.
This is the kind of service that you need. This is the kind of service that you need. So where was I? Norway. At the same time, he's still great. Apparently, his vocals seemed mostly fine, but there was maybe a hint of uncertainty, just like a soup song of uncertainty.
Maybe it's just nerves. I don't know. Cause
thank you. Continue.
I don't know. Part of me is like, maybe it's nerves because, he is like 19.
First time with an audience as well in this room.
Exactly. So maybe it'll be better tonight. Hopefully. He sounded great in the arena.
Yeah. We should say that this is still 81%. It is an exceptionally strong chance.
Yeah.
These odds very much reflect that the bookies are almost certain that these 9 will qualify, and then it's a 3-way shootout for the remaining place. Mm-hmm. God, I hope it is Iceland. Right, we're going to look at the next one, which is Belgium. This, for me, was one of the big winners. I can guarantee you there's going to be a video tomorrow where I talk about the headlines of this semi-final. This is going to be one of them because, wow.
Yes. It shocked me and Adam. Like, the performance ended and our mouths were just like, it was so good.
And the crowd loved it?
The crowd was going mad for it.
It's very much an in-arena song in some ways, but the thing is the intensity and the vocal. If those come across on the screen, all of a sudden, it's like I said. It's 6 in the odds, but if we take a little, wander over to the victory odds, this is now 5th. You can get odds. Like, for example, look here, 888 are offering odds that imply this is the 3rd favourite to win. This is a massive, massive shift, and I think it'll shift further tonight. Also, because one reason why it's not shifted further is because this one didn't leak. A bunch of performances did leak, this one didn't. So there's still going to be, it's going to go further. And as we can see in the 2 seconds since I clicked off the page, the odds actually shortened slightly again. You can see the green. So, we're going to talk about the rest of the world voting. We said we'd take a quick break here and talk about the rest of the world voting.
What's your opinion on it?
I don't see why in a live performance competition you would allow voting before the live performances are available.
I agree.
I think they should open it at the same time and close it at the same time as everyone else. As we've seen with the Luxembourg Song Contest, you can't open and close online votes at that speed.
Yeah.
And it would also prevent abuse because right now, everyone has 24 hours to run whatever kind of astroturfing campaign they want to what they want to run. And we've seen in the past jury shenanigans, televote shenanigans in all kinds of different countries, all kinds of different places. So you do have to take measures, as they do in a lot of ways, but to try and prevent that. And I don't know whether this is the thing that they should have done.
You could argue, though. I mean, I'm not saying that it should be open for a whole day. But you could argue it's because of time zones. Like, for people in Australia, like, the show starts at, like, what, 5 a.m.?
Yeah, like I guess the US. The thing is, the US, it's mid-afternoon. Because Australia's in the contest. You know, it has almost no profile whatsoever in the rest of Asia.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the major external audiences, and I can tell you this from my YouTube analytics, because these people watch videos about the contest as well, the major markets that they're playing to here are the US and Canada. And the US and Canada, it's mid-afternoon. Like for the final, it's mid-afternoon on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So I just think it would be fairer to keep it in line with everything else.
Yeah.
Just looking at some of the comments right now. Time zones, but if you want to vote at Eurovision, you'll probably watch the show itself, so you'll already be awake. This is true. People who are that invested are probably getting up to watch it anyway. So, okay, that's really hot. That's really, really hot. Whew. That's what I think about that. Keen to hear your thoughts on it as well. I will take this opportunity to do my regular reminder. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You can watch all of our coverage there. All of the live streams are available to watch back. You will find all kinds of nice things in there. You will find, oops, I've just broken my, there we go. I was going to try and show you the videos box, but I pressed the wrong thing, right. So, and don't forget, it's not too late if you haven't already to go back and watch all of the coverage from this season.
Damn, that one did well.
Yeah, it did. Video after video after video. All of this is for this year. We've talked about so much of this contest already. There are, 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 full-length videos for you to watch. And they're about half an hour each on average. So that's 8 hours worth of extra watching for you this week. Plus another 2 videos that are coming in the next 3 days.
That's your homework.
Yeah, to watch all the videos before remember the camera's there, not there.
Yes.
You keep
That's
looking
your
over there and being
homework.
like, that's your homework. And it's like, it's over there, Joe. Make sure to catch up on everything before the final. So, we're going to keep talking about semi-final 1. Next up to talk about is Italy. Tell me about it.
This is really cute. So, Lucio starts off playing this massive piano. It's so big. It's really funny. Because it's like... It feels like the stage.
Come on, Jim. Get the words. Use your words.
It's really cute. It's this massive piano. And he's just like on the side of it playing like...
He's playing...
Yeah. It's really sweet. What else happens in the performance? I think it was the clip I sent you. He plays the harmonica.
Yes, we showed that on stream. Many people here were last night and saw that he plays the harmonica. And it sounded quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
And because it's totally unique, it's quite a fun touch.
I don't think... Has anyone ever played the harmonica at Eurovision?
I don't think so, because, I mean, the lead artists have never performed with instruments, really. So, no. At the same time, I think the thing is with the big piano, big amps, I think there's a deliberate kind of scale thing here, where everything is enormous and he's tiny for a reason. You know?
Yeah.
Someone said, is the piano larger than Kai's sausage?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I noticed the piano, so...
Yeah, whereas you didn't notice the sausage for the first time. Almond LBD says, hello, how much have I missed? Adonxs was with us for about 20, 25 minutes just before. So make sure to go back and have a look at that at the end later, because it was a really insightful interview. And honestly, genuinely, one of the most fascinating people I think I've spoken to this season. There's so many layers to his creative identity and to his personal identity that are like interwoven. And you know, it's like I said, I had this whole list of questions. Didn't ask most of them. We just had a conversation. It was great, and that's honestly the best thing when you have these interviews and you just end up talking. At some certain point, you put your notes down and you just
it's a free flowing conversation.
yeah, you let it run. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what you're aiming for. We'll talk briefly now. There was a quite harsh assessment of Azerbaijan last night, which was sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Which is quite mean, but I kind of see it.
But true.
Yeah.
So the massive circle prop, we think it's made of styrofoam.
Ah. Like the old James Newman trumpets.
Yes.
Which are still in the Netherlands, by the way. They still get used. Yeah.
What?
They
For what?
they repurpose them for like some yearly show of some description. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Oh, Eurovision light.
It's not at Headquarter Song Festival Fest. It's at like some completely unrelated thing, but they still exist.
Burn them.
They're styrofoam. They would if those things set on fire, there would be like an enormous like that stuff is highly flammable.
Yeah.
If you heat it up enough, you do not want to set it on fire. It's dead on arrival. I think we agree.
Yeah.
San Marino is next. Tutta l'Italia, Gabri Ponte. A lot of fun in the arena. It did great in the audience poll. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like fourth, third, or something. Let me get it up now again, just so I can show that to you guys.
Yeah.
What was your impression of it in the room?
I mean, there was people like dancing to it, going hard, like Tutta l'Italia. But I don't know. For me, it looks a bit awkward. Gabri Ponte just like dancing there.
I think that's what comes across on TV. People are saying there's far too many cuts, but at the same time, that is an extraordinary result.
Yeah.
Like, if that bears out in the televote, obviously they would sail through. And Gabri Ponte does at least he has charisma, he has star power, but it's still a DJ. How do you sell a Eurovision song as a DJ is a very tough question indeed. But it still holds on to the top 10 in the odds to qualify. I think it did better in the audience poll because he was engaging with the crowd, won't translate on TV. I fear that may be correct. Someone's pointing out it's the North Sea Jazz Festival, by the way, that the trumpets are now used for.
Oh.
Pushing forward. You
Zierm.
start.
Zierm.
Zierm.
Yeah.
Zierm.
Zierm. This blew us away. Like, just her charisma and the way she hits the notes. Like, this was my winner of the night. It was really powerful. Got a really big reaction from the audience. I mean, as we'd expect, it's Zierm. Like, come on. Yeah, this is like, it's gonna do so well in the final. I'm really excited for it.
Oh, I don't know if you saw Dolphin Day, the model had it finishing in the top 5. And it finishing 5th, which would be incredible if that was the case.
That would be amazing. That would be such a good result for Albania. I think their highest is 4th, and that was in like, what, 2012?
2012, yeah. Run initially of Seuss. I love that
Yeah.
song, but it's so funny. Seuss, like 98% of Euro fans hate it with a burning passion. And I'm like, I think this is great. And it was clearly always going to do well. I've always loved it ever since I first heard it.
Can you sing it? Sing it for us.
No. I will not be doing that. I can play it on piano though.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like taught myself it by ear because there were no chords. Whether I remember it because it's really complicated and strange chord progression. Anyway, we'll find a piano at some point in Basel.
Yes.
I'll do it. I thought this was amazing. The contrasting colours, the contrasting energies. They had to make it their biggest strength. You know, it had the potential to be the biggest liability. They had to go really hard on it, make it the centre of attention.
Yeah.
And they've done that, and it's so special. I love this. I just think it's wonderful. The energy, her energy is infectious. One of the most charismatic performers at Eurovision this year. It just, the way it pulls people along, you know, even though it's not necessarily a particularly accessible song or genre of music. So the fact it's able to bring people along to such an extent is really quite something.
That is the power of Zierm.
The power of Zierm.
Yeah.
By the way, someone in chat said they took Jern and just whacked a Z on the front of it. And so now we have Zierm.
I should make that my Discord name.
Zjern.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally, I don't even know. The one place I really don't know what my Discord username is on is the Vibe server, because every other day,
It changes.
my nickname is changed on the Vibe server. It was Boys I'm Gabe. It was Go Blights. It was, for a while, it was just Pog.
Should we check it now? Let's see
What is it now?
It's game, but like in the style of vibe.
Oh, so like Guy.
Oh, okay.
Guide.
Mine hasn't changed since.
This
And
is
it's not
taking
loading.
too long.
Great.
Oh, someone got timed out for 60 seconds. Thanks, B. See, we've always got our moderators keeping us going. And Dunder, who is the benevolent dictator of the Vibe server, is laughing at us. Boys, I'm Gobe indeed. No, Gjerm does not work. Gjerm.
Oh.
Gjerm. No. Let's stick
that's
with
not-
Goblights and Garg, shall we? Someone said, "You're welcome, Dad." Okay, let's move on.
Oh.
Netherlands, c'est la vie. Claude. Okay. This came up before, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But do we remember what the guy said? I think so. The Netherlands, he was in the arena, and the Netherlands was one of the best received.
Yes. Okay. This was very surprising to me. They got the biggest applause at the end. And this sounds really mean. I'm not sure why.
Oh.
Like, no, but like, the Netherlands, their song's great. I love the song. The staging was really good as well, I think. Like, I think it's going to translate really well on screen. But I'm not sure why it got such a massive applause. Like, it was really, I was not expecting it.
I think it's just a really. I just think it's a really. Sometimes people just want a really, well-produced, slick, and also quite emotional pop song. And I think that's what we got, because it was... I thought it was gorgeous. I really thought it was gorgeous. And I think as well, he finally... I was so relieved for him to finally get some good press. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Dutch press can be absolute vultures. And they finally gave Claude a break, because he did great last night. He sounded so much better. You could
Did he?
tell there was some determination.
Okay.
You could see it in his eyes.
That's good.
Like
He sounded really good in the arena as well. So
and the notes were better. He was pushing them a little bit just to make sure he got there, but I think
Yeah.
that's understandable, because the confidence has probably been an issue. Because normally he can hit them totally relaxed, and he's done that on talk shows and stuff in the Netherlands. Yeah, the Dutch press are a big problem. A big problem. They are almost, if not worse, than almost as bad as, if not worse than the British press, and the British press were already terrible. But there we go. We keep pressing on. We will talk about the next song, which is Boys, I'm Gabe. How was this? Loud.
Loud, yes. I'm not sure if he hit the last note.
Oh, did he not?
I'm not sure. Did he?
Adam was also there, but he says he can't remember.
There was so much lights and so much pyro, I was like not able to focus at all.
There was lots of pink, lots of green.
Yes.
What has actually bizarrely become now a standard issue, sort of, we have a song that's meant to be sort of loud and grumpy, Eurovision kind of colour scheme. Apparently the camera cuts were there was a lot going on in the last minutes.
Yeah, there was the screen shaking
Yes.
on the the broadcast.
I think this highlights... Sorry, go on.
I was finished.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I will speak. I think, to be honest, the thing with Marco, I keep saying this, and I'm deliberately saying this every time we talk about this song, because I think it's so important to understanding why things are happening in the way it is. This is not, he's a very talented vocalist. He think about the Molly's Are Nas performance that he did at LEP. It was gorgeous.
It was amazing.
This song is not suited to him at all. It doesn't suit his voice. And I mean, the thing, you do sometimes get this where you have these kinds of workshopped songs by groups of songwriters. where it's almost an attachment after the fact that the song and the artist come together. And there's something going on here. I would really love in a few months' time to sit down with Marco and talk about his experience, because something just doesn't quite ring true. That's not to say that people aren't trying, because they're clearly working really hard. The Croatian broadcaster have put their back into this to try and make it as good as possible. But it just doesn't fit the aesthetic. Fashion-wise, it does. He's good at playing the kind of foreboding character. But the song, no. So, yeah, it's a worry. We'll see. The vision is kind of there for the staging, says Kaz, but it didn't fully materialize. It's sad, he's sweet and talented. Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. And also, the thing is the song is ultimately, he could sing this perfectly and the song wouldn't qualify.
Yeah.
The song is not good enough. And that's, a difficult reality to escape from. We're going to talk about the next song, which is surely one of the highlights.
Yes.
A new contender to win the contest, maybe?
I
In
honestly
Switzerland?
think, yeah. Like, I mean, we couldn't see much in the arena because there was camera crew like surrounding her. But on the screen, it's gonna look incredible.
We saw, obviously, the short clip that you sent, and it was just literally just camera people everywhere surrounding her.
The whole performance was like that.
But also the lights in the light. There is the lights in the audience, so there is the consciousness for the viewer on TV that the audience is there.
Yeah.
It's just so beautifully done, and there's so many elements of it that are vastly different to any other performance. Different camera lens, different way of shooting, totally different vibe of song. I think we've had a sort of jury victory contender emerge.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a really exciting thing, because I think all the conversation's been about Austria and France, and it should be to an extent, because both of those are contenders to win the jury. But I think now you have to consider this in the conversation. We've seen it shooting up in the various different models. Shock top 5 or winner, asks Kaylee. Would top 5 be a shock? I mean, I've seen what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've heard.
Right now, no.
I don't think it's a shock at all. I mean, obviously, I still need to see the full performances with my own eyes tonight.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of people who, to be honest, whose opinions I value a lot more than my own, who are extremely impressed with this. And for that reason, all I can say is, Swiss broadcaster, if you do win this thing again, please don't do Geneva. Please. We cannot afford Geneva. It's like Basel plus 50%.
Yeah.
And it's already expensive here. Don't get me wrong, this is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been into in my life. I love
lovely
Basel.
here.
It is, Jenny, it's stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I love Switzerland, but just do Zurich. Zurich would be great. It's basically the same as here. And
Yeah.
there's a nice big lake as well.
Yes, there is. I've been to Zurich.
We could imagine, if we were in Zurich this year, then what I would have done is I would have spoken to Vibe and been like, can we get a rowboat and go out on the lake and do an interview? Do an interview on the rowboat on the lake in Zurich. In any case, what I will say as well is that I'm imagining after this rehearsal footage and after tonight, there's going to be some executives responsible for SRG SSR's budget sitting in some office somewhere being like, fuck. Not this again. Once was bad enough. So the Swiss government, Swiss people, get ready to have another referendum. This could genuinely win the whole contest. What an exciting thing. Simon says, Swiss Life Arena is the best arena where I've ever been. I want to say thank you again, Simon, for your generosity earlier. I'm really sorry I missed the initial message. Now, what you won't have seen on stream last night is my reaction to Cyprus.
I saw a clip of it.
So take that. We're going to watch this back again.
Yes.
We're going to remind ourselves. Put that in your ear. Because I do happen to know that it was posted on Twitter. So I'm going to find it. Give me a minute. Because what we had was the big note, which really sounded off in the clip that you sent. I don't know if it was just the clip or if it was that off in the room, but it didn't sound right. So, where is it? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think there is not any sound because I wasn't speaking in the clip, but I'll just I will play it again. Here's how we felt about Cyprus yesterday.
Oh no.
I was the note did not sound great. Was it that far off?
The wine glass.
Listen, if I'm going to drink water, I'm going to drink it in style. Now,
Fair.
was it actually that off? Is my question to you. Because what I heard from the press centre is that it was not great, but it wasn't like a total catastrophe. You know.
You could tell it wasn't like perfect.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. Like you can tell it wasn't fully, fully hit.
Now, one person who I'm going to introduce a surprise guest who's going to join us on stream shortly. One person who was in that press centre who can tell us a little bit more about their highlights is the one and only GJ Koyman, who, of course, is here in Basel as well. He is going to be reporting on, you can't see, okay, the camera's kind of messed up, GJ. You're going to have to quickly find that. Oh, by the way, we have this, so our interviewees can see us. We have this like little, this is the old camera that I was originally using for this stream. So I'm going to plop you on there, GJ. There we go. Isn't that nice? And you can see our lovely beaming faces. And I'm now going to full screen you and you will be on stream shortly. So to give us some more insights from the press centre last night, it is the one and only GJ. Welcome. And how are you feeling today?
Hello, you. What's up? I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, really? How about now?
Now I can hear you again. Here we are.
Yay.
Yes.
So,
May just be my 5G here. Guys, what a day yesterday.
what were your give us some highlights for you, the sort of the big news that you felt came out of last night.
I think the first thing that came out of last night and yesterday afternoon is no performance looks the same. Almost every country is coming in with the intention of trying to win in terms of nobody's gone for the same type of staging or trying to keep it the same way. Every song looks different on that stage. That stage is amazing. There's a shot which I now call, pun intended, the back shot, which is where if you see the normal stage we have with the big LED screen and the mountains there, there's also that first frame and they walk back towards that main stage and we see the green room in the back, but it's got 2 extra frames in it. So it really gives you a lot of depth that way around as well. It doesn't look like just someone walking back and there's some audience there. That's absolutely one of the best things that came out of it. Big surprises from yesterday were, I think, definitely Belgium and Switzerland.
exactly
Those
what
were
we
the
said,
two
yeah.
that
Yeah.
completely uplifted so much. I think with Switzerland, the fact that it balances, is this a video? Is this a music video? Oh no, it's actually live because we see the audience with the waving lights. The depth, it plays with depth a lot with the focusing of the hands and back and forth. It's just so well done. And when it goes into the when the tempo
Oh.
out left and right, it is one of the most trippy things I've seen.
Well, you just froze for a moment in there, but we can see you again. What's interesting, and I think you correctly called this yesterday, I think when you mentioned it, that Switzerland would potentially not be as well received in the arena because people in the arena can't see anything. But tell us about a bit more about having seen some of these camera angles that people have been talking about. Can you tell us any more about what we can expect later?
What you can expect is imagine Barbara Pravi on steroids.
Oh, wow.
But also it plays a lot more with focus and depth. So her hands, sometimes we focus on her hands while she's talking about it. Then we go back to her face. It's all a very soft camera. It moves around her, but it also moves around her in a sense where we get to see the audience. So it doesn't have what I call the snap effect, where it takes so long for the viewer at home to realize what's actually happening. And then when we get to the picked up tempo, it starts working with light flashes behind her in blue that give it a really trippy feeling. My co-host Marco, who you've also seen, will be joining us on Thursday as well on the stream. He compared it to, do you know the moment where in Lord of the Rings, where the elf turns evil for a second? it turns all trippy blue. That effect, but it's dosed in the right amount, and it gives you an extra pickup, and makes you more interested in what's happening, but it doesn't let's look, and then we go back into the softness at the end of the song. What's also really great is that, of course, we get the reaction shots this year, which is done in a different frame rate right after every contestant is done, which gives you that live feeling. With her, they zoom out a little bit, so we see the camera operator and the light operator next to her, reinforcing the fact this was just shot live on stage at Eurovision in
Sort of
Basel,
here's how the
which is
sausage
a
was
really
made, kind
impactful
of thing.
thing. And I can tell you, one of the things that I said is, I think last week on Thursday, when the Big Five and Switzerland rehearsed for the first time, France may have walked outside after seeing what Switzerland's doing and cursed a lot, because this might be something that will be in their lane in terms of who will benefit from this in the jury.
It's really interesting because actually what this would represent, I think GJ's frozen there.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll bring him back in a second. Let me just wait. I'm going to respond to his point while he unfreezes. I think it would it's really interesting because I think it would it represents this crowding at the top of the scoreboard. Oh, there we go. He's back now. This crowding in the jury, which is going to make it more likely that we have a televote-led winner again. Because, we're talking about, okay, what are the pressure effects on different elements here? On the face of it, at the moment, it's not a 50-50 system because Ukraine and Israel place unique pressures on the televote that reduce the value of it for everyone else. Do you think that, in some ways...
I think Poland's in there as well.
Yeah, of course, Poland, Lithuania, the other sort of standard sort of smaller diaspora effects. Do you think that the increasing crowding that we're getting with the jury here, with Switzerland's ascension, could potentially actually widen the window for Sweden to win? And what did you think of Sweden? Because, of course, they were here too.
Listen, Sweden could benefit from this. It could also be that Sweden is still, I think, for a lot of people, an unknown factor of where that will land with juries. It could be that it could be something like a potentially Netherlands, potentially Czechia, one of those two benefiting from enough jury points that in the end we'll see a really tight race in the final scoreboard. I do believe this year we won't see a landslide winner in any case. I think that's something we know for sure now, which makes for an exciting competition. I think Sweden did a really smart thing. They looked at what they did at Melfest and then applied it to this stage where, so the fire pit stage, at a certain point, all pyro goes off. There's a lot of pyro in there, but it's also done in a way where it doesn't distract. And then when we hit that final chorus where that sizzling sound comes in and the lasers pop off, the boys walk the catwalk to the front stage, the frame stage, and interact with the crowd. And you can just tell the fact that they've taken it outside of the staging, which happens at Melfest because they don't have a catwalk or any type of dynamics in that, is what it needed. The only thing that I'm still a little worried about is the sound mix on Axel's sauna isn't as amplified because we all know the Swedes love their actual amplification in Melfest. That's something that doesn't fully translate yet here because of the levels of his microphone. Not sure if that's a tech issue or if it's just not allowed to be amplified with any type of effect or in that kind of sense within the live vocal. It could be either, but they're just doing really well. You can tell that the audience knows it. You can tell the audience loves it, is going along with it. And when they move to that front stage, that's when it really kicks off. And the same interesting thing is happening for Belgium. You might see tonight and might perceive Belgium tonight because it is so visually impressive that the audience for the first 2 minutes will be standing there, non-reactive, silent. That's what we saw last night in the feed. That's because it's so intensely visual that everyone's just looking in awe at what's happening. What they've done really smartly with Belgium, for example, is then Seppe, Red Sebastian, interacts with the crowd and goes, "Europe, are you ready to party with me?" before the final chorus and the rave kicks in, and the audience goes buck wild and starts partying because he gives them permission to. The fact that they've put that in shows that Belgium knows what they're doing. I love the bolt swing Belgium's taking this year, and they should in any way be rewarded for it because it is a killer performance.
Is it a winning contender?
Belgium, no, and that goes down to musical genre.
Okay, yeah, I guess I do understand that. Maybe I'm just the thing is right. I'm sure you'll remember having spent multiple Eurovision weeks with me now. How I will get extremely overexcited about something and suddenly declare,
You get you get extremely excited over a lot of things, which makes you enjoy. Jay, hear this. Here's a very funny one. This man shows up to his first traffic light here in Switzerland, looks at a big rat bun, pushes it, and goes, "I just love buttons."
That's such a Gabe thing.
I love button. Look, okay. See, right in chat, who among us doesn't love pressing a button and then watching something happen as a result?
Oh, he looked at me with super glee when we were on the first Basel tram, and he goes, "And I pushed the button that opened the door."
Oh my god.
Allow me just 1 week of carefree joy at the Eurovision Song Contest.
No. James, so I think my idea is next year we get you an Ableton panel with all types of jingles under it, so you can press buttons at all times.
And we're one step away from someone just buying me like an old Bop It. And
We need to get you like a fidget toy.
yeah, no, get a fidget spinner or
fidget
something.
cube.
What I need is like
Look at
the
that.
physical stream deck where you can press the buttons on it and it makes stuff change on the screen.
yes.
That's what I need.
Oh, so much fun. So before I leave you guys, because my render's almost done, because today's podcast is going out, because we were interrupted, because we went to see Claude this morning for his goodbye moment before he was going to the thing. He's really happy. He's really excited for tonight. He's deliberately stayed off social media all week, which gave him a screen time of an hour this weekend. Respect to that man. But he's really excited. He's really happy with last night. He was overjoyed hearing from us and from 3FM that he became second in the audience poll because he hadn't heard that
Oh
yet.
wow.
He was really, really happy with it. And he's also talked about, what's really fun, something you won't see on TV, is that before he starts the performance, he fist bumps the camera guy, steady cam operator, which does the beginning of the show with him. And fist bump, he's like, it's a really great click. We really vibe of each other, and that comfort is helping me throughout this performance.
It
That's really,
reminds
really
me,
fun to see
Nemo
it.
did
It's like-
something similar last year. They gave a big hug to their stage manager before each of their performances. It was who came on and got them ready on
You
stage.
really form a bond together, and of course, a lot of the tech crew's Dutch and Swedish and stuff like that. But it's been really, really fun to see. You see the same thing happen with Clement with his tech guys because of course the wiring coming in. Justina is very, very communicative and appreciative of the stage hands that get her stuff done. That's been really lovely to see because I know, especially these artists can be so focused on their performance, you forget that they form this bond in those last couple of days because they have to trust each other, they have to work with each other, and that's really been fun to see as well. And can we talk about the shows a little bit? Have you talked about what's in the rest of the show next to the 13 or the 15 things?
So we had a very emotional moment about Celine Dion last night, and we were all talking
God.
about it together.
Yes.
Everyone's gonna cry.
Everyone's gonna cry. Also, Marina, Yolanda, Sylvester, and Jerry look amazing, and it's so beautifully done. But also, there's a lot of fun, weird jokes in there. I mean, we're talking about drugs, the neutral weapons industry in a sort of frozen parody of Love is an Open Door, which is about teleshopping, about stuff made in Switzerland,
And then Petra Mura
which then
shows
leads
up.
into
Yes.
that's William Tell, who then invents Eurovision. But there's even weirder stuff in there as well. There's a Dustin the Turkey joke. We get into the most streamed songs that ever won the contest or the most hysterical props, which I have to give props, unintended,
Very
to
good.
the producers. They found a lot of new clips of entries we haven't fully seen covered, instead of it just being the same clips you and I and everyone's watching has seen for a long time. Also got to chat with Marina Sati last night for an interview, which will be going up today. It was lovely catching up with her. So that was really cool. That's going to go out today. We chatted about what she's been doing since Eurovision. Chatted a little bit about Malmo and how she feels about it now, but also about how it's been a catalyst for the artist of this year, the improvements made. So I think it was fun chatting up with her, but she looks so gorgeous. And the rest of the show, there's also one of the two hosts, Hazel, can do a really weird thing with her tongue, and she showed it on camera while she was chatting with Kai in the green room. I hope that makes it in tonight because that is genuinely a freaky moment.
Well, I look forward to that with dread. Obviously, you've got lots going on. Quickly remind everyone, before you get going, where they can find everything you've been talking about, your Marina interview, all the other stuff you've been doing this season.
You can go to at Eurovision Podcast on Instagram. You'll find all the links to everything there. And can I do a call to the internet right now?
Mm-hmm.
Sandra, one of the two hosts tonight, is wearing a chroma key green lime suit.
Do your worst, everyone.
Yes.
Let's see what
please.
we've got.
But do it respectfully and funnily, because she says in the script that the ESC online community has already taught her a lot of things. But please be respectful, but let's go have some fun with that as well. That'll be
I
fun.
remember,
And
I remember
also,
Francesco did this in 2022, didn't he? No, Alessandro Catalan was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
oh, yes, but we remember that for different reasons because he went to the Gojo school of tucking.
Ah, yes. Indeed, there was certainly. We've been talking about whether sausages were visible or not today, and that was one that certainly was. Listen, GJ.
Oh my god, like, let's just have some fun tonight. I'm going to be editing a second podcast because we also have some other stuff coming up, but I want to quickly do one little promo. I got 3 out of 4 of Catharsis to smile at the turquoise carpet. So
impossible.
please check out that interview.
That's incredible.
No. It happened. And I got Erica Vickman to do the iconic Lady Gaga club, another club, sleep club thing out of her own.
Lovely.
So you definitely want to go check those out on our YouTube. Guys, I'll chat to you later and stay hydrated, stay fun, and don't forget, we are coming to invade that stream on Thursday.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you, GJ. Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
It's good to get that perspective, but this thing is that we are very much seeing a lot of the same things, a lot of the stories emerging from across the different shows. Like we have this, Belgium. Like everyone's talking about Belgium and Switzerland today,
Yeah.
and it's just really exciting. Personally, I would love to get overexcited enough to talk about Belgium as a potential winner. I think GJ is probably right that the style of music may prevent that from happening. Just checking, having a little look at the odds, and we are going to wrap up shortly. We've been going for just about 2 hours now. We're keeping it slightly shorter today just to save some energy, and we have an interview at 3:45. We're not saying who it is, but this is a really big one. So we are super excited for that. It'll be recorded today. We'll show it on stream tomorrow. I really am looking forward to it. I'm also really enjoying not telling anyone like who the guests are or who the interviews are until they happen. I think it's really nice to have that kind of, good surprise. In the meantime, Tbilisi has been confirmed as the 2025 Junior Eurovision host city.
Okay.
Which is an interesting choice because things are not all particularly wholesome and swimmingly going in Georgia at the moment. I think I would maybe have put it somewhere else just because, it's like you don't really want the kids to be sort of having to deal with all that. But let's see where we are. I mean, it is still more than 6 months away, and I imagine the situation will change before then. As for someone's asking, is it a Parg interview? I will say now, no, the interview's not with Parg. The thing is, right, things are so busy. I will say now, I think it's unlikely we're going to get anything set up. I'm going to keep trying, of course, but you've got to remember, these guys are insanely busy this week.
Yeah.
Everyone's running around. There's a million things going on at once. Often interviews are confirmed at the last minute. One of the interviews we've already done, it was confirmed, literally the night before. I got an email being like, hey, suddenly this time's come up.
Yeah.
So stuff's totally fluid and it might be we squeeze something in, but I will say it's probably not going to happen. Charlie, there's so much you've missed, and to be honest, we're not going to be on for much longer, so it may just be helpful to go and watch from the start again. At the very least, though, when it comes to Parg, and we did, meet in person, I think it would be nice to end on a slightly, looking back at the semi-final one. Let's move away from the competitive element of this for a second,
Right.
and just say, I'd like to spend some time just going through and thinking about some of the moments we've had this season with some of the different artists here. Obviously, we talked about Iceland.
Yes.
I have to say, some of the nicest guys, I think, ever in Eurovision. So ready to do everything, so full of energy. really fun. Playing Minecraft was really fun. I think there may actually be more episodes, by the way. I've hooked them up with a couple of collabs, which will remain secret for now. So there might be more Minecraft episodes in a month or two.
Oh, that would be fun.
And obviously the stream as well. I think I'm the most emotionally invested tonight in them. But like looking through the rest of these artists, I mean, Poland, we spoke to Justina in London.
Yeah.
Just such a lovely, lovely woman. And she was so, when I mentioned some of her other music, she was so delighted. And so she was so happy that, we'd sort of delved deeper. Mm-hmm. And it was the nicest thing. And I really, really appreciated that. I think in general, I have heard from sort of some other sort of, Polish fans and people sort of broadly involved that, there's some appreciation of our coverage of Poland this season. I think in general, that's a big success story that they've come along so much and we're seeing something which is so much better from them, so much more exciting compared to past years. Estonia, maybe not the specific song, but I think Estonia's going to have a place in our hearts. What were your favourite parts of that trip out there?
Doing the stream. That stream was crazy.
When we did the Armenia review on that stream. With the famous clip.
Oh my lord.
Oh my gosh! I might see if I can try and find it. It's a good time to reminisce. We've been doing this. We've been doing this all season. Sometimes it's good to just have a bit of fun. So let's have a little look quickly. I'm pretty sure it's on the Reddit, so I'll have a look there.
We've done a lot this season.
We've done, like I said, 8 hours of full-length videos and probably 25 to 35 hours of streaming. And there's another like that amount again to do in the next 5 days. There's huge amounts going on. I'm just trying to find this clip somewhere. Here we go. This moment lives rent-free in my mind. Let's have a little watch. This is one of our personal highlights of the season. The volume should be fine this time. I fixed it after you guys said before, so my apologies. Oh gosh, it was just pure joy. It was pure joy. I enjoyed that so much. And I thought I upvoted this. I was like, yes, I did enjoy that moment. Absolute pure joy. It was just, it was great. It was absolutely great. And Estonia in general, such an amazing experience.
Incredible. That Airbnb was so nice.
Oh yeah, it was a really nice Airbnb in Estonia. Delegation was lovely. The press team at Estilal were lovely. All the artists were just so open, so kind.
Meeting Ant.
Yeah, Ant. That interview was so much fun. He was so chill. We just sat and had lunch with him after.
Yeah.
Going further down these, some other highlights of the season for me. I really enjoyed speaking to Red Sebastian and Kyle Alessandro in London. And it was really funny. The Kyle one that I remember it was his last interview, and I knew for a fact it was the last interview he was going to do before he left the press room. And so obviously he's tired, he's exhausted, as you would be at that stage. And so he comes on, he's putting on a brave face. He's clearly like giving it his best shot. He wants to give maximum energy to everyone. I remember and so I just made the first question. I threw the original plan out the window and I said, like, this is mental, isn't it? Like, this is just a completely mad space. And it was really nice seeing him sort of relaxing and like, yeah. We just sort of to bond for a moment off of how ridiculous the entire season had been. What was that? Anyway, there was a distant sound, but just sort of bond over how ridiculous it had been. And now, obviously, having spoken to Red Sebastian, there was this kind of eagerness and this confidence about him. There was very much this kind of, I've done the prep, I know I can deliver this kind of feeling. And now it's really nice seeing that develop into the performance because it is just so incredible. Movie Man says, have you been outside Tallinn in Estonia? Tartu is beautiful and Pärnu in the summer. I'm going to Pärnu next month. So there you go. I'm going to a music festival at midsummer in Estonia and then going to Pärnu afterwards with my girlfriend. So that should be very exciting. with that, I think we're into sort of last reflections now. And this is the last time you're going to see us before the first semi-final. We will have a comprehensive review of the actual show tomorrow afternoon. The stream will be, once again, 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. I think I'm going to check that because the schedule, we are deliberately, I think the best experience for you guys, even if it means the start time moves around a bit, is for us to adjust the start time of the stream if it means that we get to go and do an interview with someone. That's what we're doing today. So for the rest of the week, that might happen again. But as it stands, tomorrow we will have an interview to show you. And also it'll be me and Jay again. And we're going to talk through this semi-final with the actual results and having all of the information. I'm sure you guys will have a lot of opinions because for a lot of you tonight, it's the first time you're going to see it. But Jay, any general reflections about this semi-final, about Eurovision in general, about the season before we finally see it all kick off tonight?
At the end of the day, this is a celebration of music, right? Obviously you want your favorites to do well, but it is not the end of the world if they don't qualify. Okay, you can still listen to the music after the show.
You can still go see their shows.
Exactly. So, you know, it is fun to have a competition aspect, of course, like analyzing everything, but just have fun this week. Just enjoy it. Yeah, just it's just fun. This is just fun.
This is actually a good place to end on because actually the thing that stuck out for me when I was thinking last night after the stream and also in the morning. I mean, last night's stream was ridiculous, but I remember just waking up this morning and I was exhausted. I was like, I had such a blast, and we literally basically spent 4 hours just reveling in the fact it was here, and we're going to do the same thing tomorrow. We're going to do the same thing on Friday night as well, and we'll have the audience polls as well. And the audience poll, my gosh, those of you who were here last night, that was like high drama, high drama, and it was. But that's the thing is, we felt that kind of pure enjoyment that I think maybe we didn't feel so much last year, but it feels like it's there's that little light, that spark which is lit again. We're going to have more of that for the rest of the week, I hope. But it just, sometimes it's nice to just bask in the magic of this competition from time to time. And I think that's the message, really, I think we should close up on. So, tomorrow, remember, stream 1 till 4. You will get a full-length normal video tomorrow at 8 p.m. Basel time, 7 p.m. UK time. There will then be another jury show stream from 8:30. So basically, as soon as that video finishes, there will be a live stream after it. From 8:30 onwards, we will be covering the jury show, just like we did last night. We're going to be having people in the room. Jay, you're going to be back in the arena tomorrow night for the jury show.
Yes.
We're going to be getting clips through again. We've been really, really careful. I've been sticking really closely to the press rules that say, yes, you can show clips, but only 10 seconds of each performance. But it's really exciting get to showing them during the show. It's like, this is happening now.
Yeah.
So we have so much still to come. If you aren't following already, if you haven't subscribed, please, now is the time to do it. There's so much you're going to see this week. I'm so excited to bring it to you. So for now, and I want to quickly shout out, and Adam, you can come say hello. I want to thank someone who's an unsung hero on today's stream, which is Adam. Adam was helping out Adonxs and getting everything set up for the stream off stream as well. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Gabe.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jay,
I'd
for
like
joining.
I'd like to
Of
thank
course.
my mom,
Oh my god, here we go.
my dog, everybody.
And as you can see, they're every bit as insufferable as each other. Now, we'll be back tomorrow. Jay, I will let you do the honours of thanking everyone and saying goodbye before we leave.
Goodbye, guys. We will give updates for tomorrow's jury show.
Yes. Okay, right, I'm pressing the button now.
Okay.
Bye.